Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to master how to draft and analyze business content using Microsoft 365 Copilot and generative AI. Let's get started. Let's kick things off by defining what generative AI actually means for your daily workflow. At its core, generative AI uses advanced models that have learned patterns from vast amounts of data to create brand new content from simple text descriptions. Think of Microsoft 365 Copilot as your personal workflow companion, sitting right inside the apps you already use, like Word, Excel, and Teams. Why is this so critical? Because it completely automates those repetitive, mundane tasks that eat up your day, like summarizing endless email threads or drafting routine reports. This gives you your time back for high-value, strategic thinking. How does it do this? Copilot leverages large language models securely paired with the Microsoft Graph, meaning it understands your specific organizational data, your emails, your files, your chats, to provide highly contextual, personalized assistance. We'll be doing a deep dive into how you can harness this power to transform scattered information into polished business content effortlessly. Take a look at this diagram, which visualizes the core engine of Microsoft 365 Copilot. On the left side, you have your inputs, your specific user prompt, and the secure organizational data pulled from the Microsoft Graph. Both of these feed directly into the central generative AI large language model. The model acts as the brain, processing your request within the context of your specific business data. Finally, on the right, we see the powerful outputs: an automated task, freshly generated text content, or deep data insights. It is a continuous, secure flow from idea to execution. Now that we understand the what, let's talk about the how. Drafting effective business content often requires a delicate balance of clarity, structure, and creativity. We've all faced that daunting blank page. Copilot eliminates that hurdle entirely by generating a solid first draft based on just a few key points. To do this, you simply open an app like Word, select the Copilot icon, and give it an instruction like asking it to write a professional introduction for a performance report. The real secret to mastering this is iteration. You can constantly ask Copilot to make the tone more optimistic or make the text more concise. But here is a crucial deep dive concept. You must choose your grounding data. You can instruct Copilot to use work-grounded data, which searches your secure internal emails and SharePoint documents, or web-grounded data, which searches the public internet for the latest external industry trends. Combining both gives you incredibly rich, comprehensive drafts. Let's walk through this workflow diagram. When you open Copilot Chat to start a draft, your first major decision is selecting your data grounding. If you go left, you select work-grounded data, meaning the AI securely taps into your internal documents, chats, and emails to build context. If you go right, you select web-grounded data to pull in external industry trends via Bing search. Both paths converge at the generation of your first draft. The final step at the bottom is crucial: iterating. You don't just accept the first output, you continually refine the tone and length until it perfectly matches your goals. Drafting is only half the battle. Next, we must refine and transform that content for our audience. Complex paragraphs aren't always the best way to present data, especially to leadership. Copilot allows you to highlight a block of text in Word and simply prompt it to visualize as a table, automatically organizing the data into columns and rows. But the real magic happens when you need to present. Instead of manually copying and pasting text into slides, you can open PowerPoint and use Copilot Chat to transform your entire Word document into a visual deck. By starting your prompt with a /, you can directly link your saved Word document, instructing Copilot to generate a multi-slide presentation. You can further refine this by telling Copilot to make the slide bullets concise and action-oriented. This seamless transition across the Microsoft 365 suite ensures your message lands effectively while saving you hours of formatting time. This diagram illustrates the content transformation lifecycle. We begin on the left with our raw text drafted in Word. From there, we can either refine it in place by converting it into a structured table, or we can move it to a completely different medium by opening PowerPoint. Notice the specific command step. We prompt Copilot using the / to link the original Word document. The AI then parses that document to automatically generate a full presentation deck. Finally, we iterate on the deck to ensure the messaging is tight and action-oriented for our stakeholders. Let's pivot from text to numbers. Data-driven decision-making is critical, but analyzing complex datasets can be incredibly daunting if you aren't an Excel power user. Copilot in Excel acts as your personal data analyst. To start, there is a strict technical requirement. Your data must be formatted as a table or a supported range, and the file must be saved on OneDrive. Once that is set, you can open Copilot Chat and ask it to find trends, summarize figures, or identify outliers. Why spend hours building pivot tables manually when you can simply type, "Create a bar chart showing sales by region"? Copilot will generate the chart, which you can then refine by asking it to add axis labels or highlight top performers. Furthermore, Copilot can actually build and explain complex Excel formulas for you. If you need to calculate percentage increases or extract specific text strings, you just ask and Copilot generates the exact formula for the cell. Looking at this workflow, you can see the strict prerequisites at the top. You must save your file on OneDrive and format your data as a table. Without this, Copilot cannot read the data. Once the setup is complete, you open Copilot Chat, which branches into 3 powerful capabilities. You can ask it to identify broad trends and summarize data. You can instruct it to generate visual charts, like line or pie charts. Or, you can ask it to suggest and explain complex mathematical formulas. It is a complete analytical toolkit right at your fingertips. Now we are going to elevate our skills by looking beyond standard chat, diving into Copilot agents. Think of agents as specialized, expert teammates built right into your Microsoft 365 environment. While standard Copilot is excellent for quick drafts and edits, agents are engineered for deep, multi-step problem solving. We have 2 primary pre-built heroes here, the analyst agent and the researcher agent. The analyst agent acts like a virtual data scientist. You can upload CSV or JSON files directly to it, and it uses complex chain-of-thought reasoning to identify outliers, calculate statistics, and generate ready-to-share visual reports. The researcher agent, on the other hand, is your ultimate intelligence gatherer. It conducts comprehensive, multi-step research across both your internal organizational files and the public web simultaneously. It asks you clarifying questions to refine its search and ultimately delivers a highly structured report complete with strict source citations. This diagram clearly splits the capabilities of our 2 primary pre-built agents. On the top path, the researcher agent takes your prompt and executes a multi-step search across both web and work data. Its ultimate output is a structured report heavily backed by citations. On the bottom path, the analyst agent takes your raw data files and applies chain-of-thought reasoning. It acts autonomously to crunch the numbers, resulting in deep statistical insights and visual data representations. Both agents operate within your secure Microsoft boundary. Business is a team sport, and generative AI shouldn't just be a solo tool. This is where Copilot Pages and Copilot Notebooks come into play, revolutionizing how we collaborate. Often, project details get lost in endless Teams threads and fragmented emails. Copilot Notebooks solves this by giving you a focused, asynchronous workspace. You can drop up to 20 different files, PDFs, or OneNote pages into a notebook as grounding references, and then ask Copilot to synthesize all of it while your team leaves comments at their own pace. But if you need to work together right now, you use Copilot Pages. When Copilot gives you a great response in chat, you simply click Edit in Pages. This pulls the text into a live, collaborative canvas built on Microsoft Loop. Because it's a Loop component, you can paste that page directly into a Teams chat or an Outlook email. When your colleague edits the table in Teams, it instantly updates the master page in real time. It is seamless, synchronized collaboration. Let's trace the collaboration paths from a single Copilot chat response. Depending on your team's needs, you branch left for real-time collaboration using Copilot Pages. Because Pages use Loop technology, you can embed them anywhere like Teams for live, multi-user editing. If your team needs to think deeply and asynchronously, you branch right to Copilot Notebooks. Here, you actively upload up to 20 reference files to ground the AI, allowing your team to synthesize massive amounts of data and leave persistent comments over time. To unleash the full power of Copilot and its agents, you must master the art of prompting. A prompt is simply the instruction you give the AI. If you put garbage in, you will get garbage out. Vague prompts yield generic, unusable results. To write an effective prompt, you need 4 core pillars: context. Why do you need this? Goal. What exactly do you want the AI to do? Source. Where should it look? And expectations. How should it format the answer? For example, don't just say, write an email. Say, write a professional email to the team summarizing the Q3 report. Use bullet points and keep it under 200 words. You must treat the AI like a highly capable, but literal, human assistant. As a deep dive trick, use special symbols to forcefully ground the AI. Type a / to link an exact PowerPoint file, type a hashtag to reference a specific Teams meeting, or type the @ symbol to pull in feedback from a specific colleague. This guarantees precision. This diagram breaks down the anatomy of a perfect prompt. Notice how the 4 distinct pillars context, goal, source, and expectations all feed simultaneously into the core prompt. This structure removes all ambiguity for the AI. Once the core prompt is established, we apply our advanced technique, using symbols like slashes, hashtags, and @ symbols to strictly reference files, meetings, and people. This comprehensive input directly results in an optimized, highly accurate AI output. Let's bring everything we've learned together into a high-stakes, real-world use case. Imagine it's 4:15 p.m. and your director urgently needs an executive summary on AI adoption in financial services for a leadership meeting tomorrow morning. There is no template and the data is scattered everywhere. Here is how a senior expert handles this using Copilot. First, you parallel track your research. You open standard Copilot chat and instruct it to summarize all internal teams meetings and documents regarding AI strategy over the last 6 months. Simultaneously, you fire up the researcher agent and prompt it to gather the latest external market trends and competitor innovations. Next, you take both data streams and drop them into a Copilot notebook. You prompt the notebook to synthesize the data, specifically asking it to identify alignments and gaps between your internal strategy and the external market. Finally, you push that synthesized insight into Copilot pages to draft a clean narrative and instruct it to export the final result as a PowerPoint deck. What used to be an all-nighter is completed before dinner. This final workflow diagram maps out our real-time use case from start to finish. We begin with the urgent executive request at the top. We immediately split our efforts, gathering internal data via Copilot chat on the left and pulling external market trends via the researcher agent on the right. We funnel both of those rich data streams into Copilot notebooks. Inside the notebook, the AI synthesizes the information to find strategic gaps. That refined insight is pushed into Copilot pages to draft the actual narrative, which is seamlessly exported into a final PowerPoint presentation for leadership.